We lost one of the greats on October 31st as the legendary Sir Sean Connery passed away only months after we were just wishing him a happy 90th birthday in August. The man made great movies even greater and bad movies completely watchable, and took some crazy chances with his career, with extremely underrated sci-fi flicks like Zardoz and Outland. And for a Scotsman, his reign as King of England is quite beloved. That's right, Sean Connery was actually near 900 years old. He was such the embodiment of James Bond that I've heard people say that even when they've seen more of the other Bond films, that Connery is still who they immediately picture in their heads when they hear the name James Bond. And a great way to spotlight this Sultan of Suave, the best of the Bonds, is to spotlight my favorite of the Connery Bond films, the 1964 classic Goldfinger. With the rights to Thunderball still held up in court, the producers turned to Goldfinger to be the third Bond film, which was based on the seventh novel that was released in March of '59. The film is looked at as the first Bond blockbuster, as its budget was the budget of the first two films combined. While Dr. No and From Russia with Love certainly set many standards to be used through the series, this is especially the case with Goldfinger. Marketing had a tremendous use of promotional tie-ins, such as fashion and corgi toys, which were the highest selling toys of 1964. Press was even invited on set during filming, and Shirley Eaton graced the cover of Life magazine. The film was more extreme with its gadgets, which is certainly something carried over into future films, and this was the first to have a standalone pre-credit sequence that does its own thing, not connected to the plot. After salary negotiations fell through with director Terrence Young, Guy Hamilton was hired to be the director, who would in total direct 4 James Bond films. And Remo Williams, hell yes! Hamilton had his eyes set on making Bond less of an invincible superhero, and give plenty of moments where, oh shit, he's in danger. This is helped too by making the villains extremely powerful with a hell of a lot of screen time. But let's begin now with the great James Bond, played by Bob Simmons. He was the series stuntman who played Bond in the opening barrel scene in the first 3 movies. Goldfinger opens with James Bond's mission to blow up the tanks while rendezvousing with Trevelyan. Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself again. This is where he's pitching his Spy Bird comic strip, and when it's rejected, he's gonna beat the hell out of this guy. His mission is to blow up every single remaining luxurious office previously owned by Dr. No, and to blow it up with toothpaste to rub his smelly breath in his face. Anyway, I'm late, let's get to the Oscars. It had to be hot under that suit. A nice tux, James, but geez, you smell like sweat. Never mind, Bond is so cool, he makes B.O. look badass. Look, he's even getting so laid, despite the movie's original villain cockblocker. Dude, what if she had nothing to do with that? Regardless of if she's guilty or not, he's still gonna try out his new material in front of her.
Positively shocking.
And that, officer, is when he said shocking. I can't press charges, he's too hilarious. Plus, I'm distracted by the most iconic of all Bond themes. Goldfinger! He's an asshole, a real sack of shit! Guess that'll be a running joke. You best look away from the credits. They contain massive spoilers. I didn't know there was a gold robot in the film. It also catches you up on the previous movie. Remember that amazing chase in From Russia with Love that took place on a pair of legs? The music of Goldfinger was the favorite of John Barry's, since he had the most control over the music in it. Shirley Bassey, who sang the theme, would later also sing the themes to Diamonds Are Forever and Moonraker, plus the song reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100. I still hear it plenty of times on the radio today. Since Shirley Bassey sang the song over footage of the opening credits, when it got to the ending, she got a little out of breath when having to extend the last note. I think we have some behind-the-scenes footage of that. But now back to the amazing opening of our story, already in progress. I say the opening of the story? I accidentally put in a PSA for the year 1964. Nothing specific, just simply the year 1964. While Jack Lord was offered to reprise his role as Felix Leiter, that was more negotiations that fell through, and the role went to Cease Linder, beginning the trend of Felix often played by different actors. He was also the only one to be filmed in Miami, while Bond and the rest of the cast were filmed in Pinewood Studios. Still seems like Miami 64 to me.
Dink, say goodbye to Felix. Man talk.
Oh, sure, but when I did that, during a riveting conversation about The Godfather, I got hit with a trash can. It's made to look like everyone is still in Miami through the use of rear projections and stand-ins during some far-away shots. Leiter wants Bond to observe bullion dealer Eric Goldfinger, who has been cheating at gin rummy. The town of Miami doesn't stand for a dirty cheat. So Bond finds something familiar. Yes, someone sexy is helping the villain. But like two previous Bond girls, Shirley Eaton's Jill Masterson is dubbed.
Who are you?
Bond. James Bond.
And Connery's voice still makes audiences' penises explode. She's dubbed by Nikki Vanderzil, while Goldfinger actor Gert Fraub is dubbed by Michael Collins. I guess that also makes him a Bond girl. Anyway, James saves the day and Goldfinger loses his game. That's gonna be on your hotel bill. Well, that was a quick mission. Miami Beach, come for the gin rummy, stay for a game of haggis in the bedroom. Oh, there's still plenty of twists.
How about breakfast?
Okay. Not too early.
I'll call you around 9.
See, he was thrown off because that was actually Shirley Eaton's real undubbed voice saying not too early. Don't worry, Bond is still hip with the kids.
That's as bad as listening to the Beatles without earmuffs.
Bond is a much bigger Wings fan, clearly, though it does make it awkward when he's around Anya Amasova, since she's married to Ringo. Awkward. George Martin sends his regards. As Bond wakes up, he finds the disturbing scene in which Jill has died from skin suffocation after being painted gold, though Mythbusters completely disproved that, so maybe she just died of a nut allergy. Also, don't jerk off on her legs, bro. The good news, though, is that Jill may be dead, but the actress, Shirley Eaton, is still alive and has now outlived all the main cast members. Even Dink actress Margaret Nolan passed away October 4th, mere weeks before Connery. But back to Bond in trouble with Principal M.
You were supposed to observe Mr. Goldfinger, not borrow his girlfriend.
Sir, you should not be surprised by this. I love that 3 movies in, and now it's Moneypenny who has grown badass with a hat, despite this revelation.
Who is she, James?
She is me, Miss Moneypenny. And kindly omit the customary byplay with 007.
M and Bond are sleeping together. As for Goldfinger, yes, there's more to his monitoring than cheating at gin rummy, since the fluctuating gold prices mean that someone can make a killing selling bullion internationally. So Bond must figure out how Goldfinger is going to smuggle gold across countries' borders. Spoiler, it's in his ass. It's time for Bond and Goldfinger to meet face to face, where he can seduce him with gold and poison him with a parking meter. This is after some great James and Q banter. Goldfinger contains the debut of the Aston Martin to the series and all the gadgets that come with it, plus Q not being named Boothroyd. And here we get more of a sense of Bond and Q's relationship, that being like a stern father and rebellious teenage son.
Eject a seat, you're joking.
I never joke about my work, 007.
Right? That's Lloyd's job to joke about Q and Bond, like in last week's What If It Exploded? So meanwhile, at Bushwood Country Club, Bond and Goldfinger meet.
How'd you do? How do you do?
Huh, I was expecting you to be on a hand, like in the opening credits. However, here's the real villain of the movie. No, I'm not talking about Oddjob. I'm talking about every asshole who thinks it's cute to pick Oddjob on GoldenEye multiplayer. So let's get down to business. Huh, a man who shits out gold is worth doing business with. I'm beginning not to trust Goldfinger when they take a bet for that gold bar.
Strict rules of golf?
Because Goldfinger's a dick. And when he loses his ball, he continues to be a dirty cheat. That's Korean for found the ball, bro. Many of the shots of golfing Goldfinger are a stand-in since Gert couldn't quite get the hang of golf, so clearly Al Cervic stood in. Bond is smart enough to switch Goldfinger's balls, which would make him lose since they're playing strict rules, and in extremely strict rules, he'll get 20 lashings. Oh, he'll just go on Twitter and claim he won anyway. Oddjob is played by wrestler Harold Sakata, who became so synonymous with the role that he'd use Oddjob as his middle name in future movie roles. Oddjob here looks quite a bit different than he's described in the book. I think we also have some footage of that. In this version, Oddjob is more of a Tom Jones fan. Wait until Thunderball, but until then, let him break shit. Oddjob, the Bart Simpson of his day. Bond's all set though. Not only can he track Goldfinger, but this shows him where the nearest Slim Chickens is. When I was a little kid, I watched this movie hundreds of times, and the tape that I had was from when we recorded it off of TBS in 1985. That airing randomly cut out parts of the film, including the whole opening, plus this scene as well. So even years after having an uncut copy of the film, this scene would always still feel new to me. Also because of that tape is why I always associate Death Wish 3 with Goldfinger, since the trailer was shown during that airing. God, I wish I still had that tape just for the commercials alone. Anyway, so yes, Goldfinger may be down there, but god damn this is beautiful scenery. Gotta be Honey Rider. You should have called her, James! But I guess this is an excuse to mess with her car now. I do that to everyone who tries cutting in front of me at the drive-thru. Now Bond meets his biggest match yet in Tilly Soames.
You don't look like the sort of girl who should be ditched.
Never mind that. Please take me to the nearest garage.
By the way, my name is Bond.
As quickly as possible.
This has never happened to me before. Too bad he drives away before he can hear her scream out, by the way, my name is Tilly Masterson. I'm Jill's sister. I can see why the music would be John Barry's favorite. It stands out hardcore. With the gorgeous scenery around Auric Enterprises, the music also lends a sense of dread, and you really don't know what's gonna happen with this company, but you do know it's corrupt as hell. Plus, it's a horrible night for Bond to have a curse. This time, he's not wearing a tux under there. He's wearing James Bond underoos. This place is clearly evil. He's got henchmen who all dress the same. But at the same time, Mr. Ling, his nuclear fission specialist, is Burt Kwok. That's Kato. Maybe Goldfinger is misunderstood, and he's a German Inspector Clouseau. Until Clouseau turned evil and became the original Oddjob, that is. Everything is then ruined by Tilly Masterson showing up, blowing their cover when she again tries to assassinate Jake Blues. However, this does lead to a great car chase where they have fun. Goldfinger really shouldn't have hired henchmen whose bones were made of dynamite. Unfortunately, cars and bullets are no match for hats. She'll make a fine statue. She doesn't die quite this soon in the book, but more on that later. As for now, we can still count on the car to be awesome. They must all be friends because his fellow henchmen seem very concerned for him and are trying to help. Bond, meanwhile, is probably so surprised about the old woman shooting at him that despite being tricked by this mirror and the bullet holes getting in his way, he may have crashed into that wall anyway. What did this fool just do? God, I'm handsome. Oh no, I don't know what's happened, but this next scene better not be iconic. This was the first time a laser was used in a James Bond movie, but wait until the series becomes laser porn with Moonraker. Here we find out a little bit more about Goldfinger's love of gold.
This is gold, Mr. Bond. All my life I've been in love with its color.
Good thing his favorite color wasn't brown. That'd make for a very suggestive title, though we'd still have this line.
Do you expect me to talk?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
That's why Goldfinger only watches the first scene from You Only Live Twice and then shuts it off. Bond is even more scared here than if a tarantula was crawling next to him. He gets out of it, though, when he lies and says MI6 knows about Operation Grand Slam, Goldfinger's secret operation. Maybe we shouldn't cut him in half. We'll shoot him instead. That's it, everyone. James is dead. Let's take a break so I can find one of the commercials during the 1985 TBS airing that I had.
We're all set for our biggest sale of the year, the J.C. Penney Day sale.
And look, I'll show you gold and more, 25 to 50% off. There's a sale on track and court warm-ups, too. And 25% off all swimwear.
It's the J.C. Penney Day sale.
You're looking smarter than ever, J.C. Penney.
Now that we're back, Bond has died and is clearly in heaven.
Who are you?
My name is Pussy Galore.
I must be dreaming.
I love that the original line, I know you are, but what's your name, was deemed too suggestive. Pussy Galore is played by Honor Blackman, by far one of the series' best Bond girls, and she even quit her role on The Avengers to be in this film, obviously replaced by James Bond himself and a bear. Pussy Galore is Goldfinger's personal pilot for his private jet, and she puts up with no nonsense.
Here's to Operation Grand Slam.
I'm not used to my moves not working. First Tilly and now this?
This should be a memorable flight.
You can turn off the charm. I'm immune.
Challenge accepted. She is such a great pilot that no one notices she flies sideways. Best keep an eye on Bond to make sure he doesn't steal any towels. She's lucky he didn't ejaculate on it this time. The CIA, meanwhile, has picked up the tracker on their way to Kentucky.
Their flight plan gives Bluegrass Field, Kentucky as their final destination.
Don't charge in on him and spoil anything, will you?
Spoiler, Goldfinger dies. And just when Bond tries to flirt, Odd Job chafes.
You know, he kills little girls like you.
Little boys, too.
And then he slapped Odd Job on the ass. Pussy Galore is the head of Pussy Galore's Flying Circus, which is also a hilarious wood rocket porn parody of Monty Python. Having not been alive in 1964, I just assume every pilot was exactly like this and advertised for Orbit's gum. Complete with that exact music anytime they moved. Bond is on Goldfinger's ranch so they can make sure he's alive. That way, it looks like things are all innocent and kosher to the people who'd be spying on him. Unfortunately, they got him a room at the Knight's Inn. It doesn't help that the CIA is still trying to get Colonel Sanders for a cameo, but apparently Hell's Bloody Devils was the better script to him. It's time we learn a little more about Goldfinger's plan. Whatever it is, he's assembled a group of mobsters who financed Operation Grand Slam. Seems legit.
Did you say 10 million?
As soon as my bank opens, in the morning.
Banks don't open on Sunday.
Well, so much for that plan, I guess. This place is getting awfully Villain's Lair-like. So it seems he wants to knock off Fort Knox, despite that totally blowing up in the face of Turl, who is still caged inside. Before we go any further, though, Bond needs to overhear this. Okay, fine. Maybe just one blowjob. Now that he's knocked out, we can continue on with Goldfinger's plan. It's such a serious plan that during some of his speech, Gert Frob's voice isn't dubbed. You can tell when it goes from dubbed to undubbed when he screams, "Accept crime."
Achieve miracles in every field of human endeavor. Accept crime!
Kudos to Michael Collins, whose voice sounds relatively close to Gert Frob's. The trailer even has an undubbed version of some lines.
Choose your next witticism carefully, Mr. Bond. It may be your last.
So the gangsters seem interested in getting even more gold, except Mr. Solo, who wants to cash out. That shouldn't be a surprise. His name is Mr. Solo. Too bad Bond can't hear the end. Ouch! Now Bond is going to miss that Goldfinger spent all that money to showcase this plan, but kills the mobsters anyway. What a money-wasting braggart! This may work out for the best, though. He slips Solo the tracker and his phone number. The jail cell made him horny. Alright, let's track him now. Unfortunately, he's on foot, so this is going to take a while. Felix takes us on a tour through Kentucky, 1964. 2 eggs, 39 cents. Sign me up. Though I have some issues with 60s Uber. Well, someone just went from 2 stars to 1. Alright, back up to 2 stars. He can fit in most parking spaces now. If you think that's disturbing, here Goldfinger is clearly trying out his hand at being a hotshot movie producer. Thank God he's interrupted by Tea with Bond.
That's my James.
You hear that? He's my James. My James. The full plan is revealed that Goldfinger isn't going to remove any gold from Fort Knox, but instead detonate a bomb inside that would radiate the gold, thus making Goldfinger's gold more valuable. In the 80s, we called it the Full Zorin. This actually takes care of a big plot hole from the book where Goldfinger was robbing Fort Knox. Even Bond here says that it'd be impossible to move all of it that quick. This day is getting better, except for the horrifyingly disturbing image of Mr. Solo crushed in a car cube.
Well, how about it, handsome?
Mr. Solo who? Honor Blackman was partly hired due to her judo abilities, which were written into the script. She even had a book of self-defense that was published in 1965. However, it has to be said that the 1964 version of Chasing Amy is still harsh, dude. Pussy and her pilot's role in this is to poison the troops to death, and even though this is a blockbuster, I love the little low-budget style move of having it be the same extras passing out and just moving them to different locations in the shots. I bet they're all really dead. Don't worry about him. They'll replace Felix in the next film. This plan is gonna be just fine. The laser is there to slice through the gate's dick. And in they go. They're not really dead, by the way. James Bond's magic tongue saved tens of thousands of lives, as Pussy is on Bond's side now. Except these two might be dead. Why did they purposefully get into an accident? Even Bond isn't safe yet, as he's handcuffed to the bomb, which may look like it's going fast, but in reality is one of the slowest off-screen bombs in cinema history. Goldfinger has plenty of backup plans, though, like dressing up as Colonel. You seem trustworthy. However, Oddjob and Kitch are now in danger, as they're trapped inside with the bomb. Damn, now he's gonna get blown up! There's a great fight scene here that's like the deadliest game of Frisbee in the 60s. It's simultaneously suspenseful and has very funny moments. It's great how much of a prison it looks like in here. After the film was released, the comptroller of Fort Knox sent the production a letter congratulating them on their imaginative set. But back to the fight, Harold Sakata was a trooper. When Bond electrocutes him, he really was getting his hand burnt, but he didn't break character. While the countdown being off is still funny, but between being heavily invested in the plot and Connery sweating bullets, it's still edge-of-the-seat entertainment. The clock was supposed to end at 003, but ending it at 007 is funnier, even though Bond still references it being 003. Also, it's a good thing other characters know who Pussy Galore is.
Did you get him?
Not yet, but he won't get far.
And Pussy?
Excuse me? While Bond is off to meet the president, alright, I guess we need to take care of that Goldfinger, with one of the best lines in the movie.
Oh, congratulations on your promotion, Goldfinger.
I'm sorry, that's one of my favorite Bond one-liners. The shock of Goldfinger being there doesn't stop Bond from being hilarious. This plays out a little differently in the book. In the book, Tilly wasn't killed so soon. She was later killed by Oddjob at Fort Knox, and then it was Oddjob who was sucked out of the window of the plane while Goldfinger was strangled to death. Here, nice, like watching a plane and a person demonstrate constipation. Unfortunately, Bond doesn't have Junior there to suggest he jump out of the plane on a raft, so I guess a parachute will do. I bet he arranged this for some sweet island sex.
This is no time to be rescued.
And then they both starved to death on an island after fighting several island cannibals. The end. Now let's watch the movie again, only projected over a golden dead body. Good night, everyone. Wow, some movies are movies, but Goldfinger is a fucking movie. The film was at the time the fastest grossing movie ever, and even got to the point to where theaters were showing it 24 hours a day. Critics loved it, audience loved it, and it was the first Bond movie to win an Oscar, in this case for Best Sound Editing. It was the favorite Bond movie of later Bonds Pierce Brosnan and George Lazenby, and it was also the first Bond movie I watched as a kid, and was the one I watched the most when I was growing up. It was one of the favorites of Albert Broccoli, the others being The Spy Who Loved Me and From Russia with Love. The movie is perfect suspense, with some of the most brilliant placed music cues I've seen in a movie. It's a symphony of awesome and great blockbuster entertainment. Plus, like always, I have the original VHS in my pocket. Wait, Zardoz? You had one job, Jacket. I'll get to Zardoz in January, but until then, James Bond will return in Crushing Balls.